Hello, everybody. I have a new little friend. This is Abby. I just got her. I call her my support dog. She's awesome. She's Yorkie, Maltese, and miniature Schnauzer. So, anyway, she's my little sweetheart, and she makes me happy. So anyway, I'm going to put her down so that she doesn't want to be held. She wants to run around, get into things. So anyway, I wanted to introduce her to everybody. So today on The Wise Widow, we are going to talk about energies, grief, and intuitions. Sometimes we get those funny little feelings in our stomach, or you feel something in your heart, or there's something niggling in your brain telling you something. Those are your intuitions, and I don't think they should be ignored. They play a very, very important role to us, and we need to do what is good for us. The big question that we always need to ask ourselves is this good for me? And if the answer is a hard no, we probably need to follow that. So we're going to talk about a few things today. I'm going to give you an analogy on some of the things that we need to listen to with our intuitions. So if I was baking a cake, first I would need to make my list, because I'm not making a boxed cake. I'm starting from scratch. And I would need the flour and the eggs and the baking soda and the milk and maybe some chocolate and all the different things that you put in a cake. And all of those ingredients together make the cake. Now, there's certain ingredients that don't belong in a cake. So I wouldn't put them in there because they just wouldn't work. They don't belong in a cake. Our life is the same way. We need to find the things that make our cake. And the things that don't belong, we need to learn to say no to those things. So in our lives, we go along and we're getting all of our ingredients together, and especially after grief, because once grief, we're in the middle of it, some of our ingredients change in our lives. Some of the things that worked for us when our partner was still with us are not necessarily the things that work in our recipe anymore. And what I mean by that is maybe some of our hobbies, some of the things we go and do, and sometimes it means the people in our lives. A big thing that I learned a very, very long time ago, years and years ago, is just because somebody is blood does not mean that they're good for me. I had somebody say to me once, so I was having some things going on with some relatives, and they said, if that was a friend of yours that did that to you, would you tolerate it the same as you would this person because you're related to them? Whether it's a parent or a sibling or a cousin or an aunt or an uncle, whoever it may be, a child maybe. So you need to decide who it is that is good for you, and you need to really kind of get a grip on what is working for you and what isn't in your recipe of life. You need to figure out the ingredients that are working for you. Some don't belong. Some, maybe they never worked and never belong, but now that your husband has passed, they really don't belong. Sometimes we need to sever ties. We need to take care of us. We need to do what's good for us. If that person is not good for me and that person is creating some toxicity in my life, maybe I need to make some space between me and that person. Sometimes it's a hard and fast severing and that's it. And that's okay if that's the way you do it. Sometimes we need to create a little bit of distance, maybe for a little bit of time. Maybe we don't know how much time it'll be. Maybe it'll be, a few months. For some people, it can be longer. Some people, it'll be less. You have to find out what works in your recipe. So we need to remember that we need to take care of ourselves. And I've said that before. Self-care is number one. I will always push that. If you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of anybody else? If you can't take care of yourself, sometimes you need to go get some help. But we're going to talk about that at another time when we talk about support systems. But today we're talking about energies and intuitions that go with our grief. And we can feel sometimes that other people's energies just don't jive with us. I found in my first year, I was kind of going along and certain things worked and certain things didn't. But I didn't make hard and fast decisions because I just wasn't ready for it. I had a job that I was in. I was only part-time. That job was very good for me at one point, but I found out as I went on, that job didn't serve a purpose for me anymore. That job wasn't good for me anymore. That job started being toxic. Some of the people at that job were maybe not good for me. So I had to get myself out. And sometimes getting yourself out can be ugly. And that's okay. Do the ugly if that's what you need to do, because you need to do what is good for you. You need to take care of you first. Because if you can't take care of you, like I said, you're not going to take care of anybody else. So sometimes we have people that have expectations on us, and they want us to make promises. They want us to make plans. They want us to do different things with them that we're just not capable of doing because of our grief. So sometimes we need to be strong, pull from somewhere deep, deep inside and find the strength to be able to say no. Don't make promises that you can't keep. Don't make promises that you don't want to keep. If there's somebody saying to you, let's get together, or this or that, and you know that that person, if you're with them, they just bring you down or they are not good for you, it's okay to make some distance. It's okay to say no. I think what the problem is sometimes people will know, they feel it, the energy is not right, or their intuition tells them, you know what, that person's not very good for me. But they're a little bit afraid to tell that person. I am a very extroverted person, as probably a lot of you are starting to get to know. I think honesty is the best policy. And if you need some space from somebody, sometimes you just need to say, I just need a little bit of space. I need some alone time. I need some time for me. I will reach out to you when I'm ready. Some people are pushy. It's okay not to answer your door. It's okay not to answer your phone. It's okay not to answer a text. As long as people know you're okay. It's not okay to ghost somebody and then people be worrying about you. So somebody needs to know that you are okay. You know what? I just need some alone time. And that's completely okay. It's the toxic people. That's the intuition and the energies. We need to keep good energy around us. The good energy needs to keep flowing when we're grieving, because we're not going to ever be able to heal and move a little bit forward with things and find maybe some new hobbies, find sometimes some new friends. Sometimes our old friends are not the best for us after we've lost our spouse, our partner, whoever it may be. So that's a little food for thought too. Don't allow people to ask things of you that you cannot deliver on, which is kind of what I said. Don't make promises you can't keep, but don't let people force you into doing something that you really do not want to do. I have learned to say no. I have learned to push people away a little bit, gently sometimes. Sometimes I've had to drop a curtain, and I'm okay to do that too. because I'm taking care of me. I'm very fortunate in that I do not have young children that I've had to care for when my husband passed. My children are adults. Those of you that have young children, like I've said 3 times already, if you can't help yourself, how are you going to help somebody else? So set those boundaries. Set those boundaries. Sometimes build that wall a little bit. Sometimes the wall is built permanently. Sometimes the wall can be brought back down. There's no time frame though. You do not need a timeline right now. But if you have toxic energies around you, it is okay to either put some relationships on hold, or it is also okay to sever ties of relationships. Sometimes that's a hard one for some people to do. Sometimes it is something we need to teach ourselves to do. It is a learnt behavior. It isn't something we're just born with, that we just go snippity snip snip, goodbye. But you can do it if you need to. Self-care, taking care of yourself. You need good energy. It is not okay for your friends, your family, your children, your co-workers, your boss to cross over that line of those boundaries. When you need space or you need time, you need to be able to take that for yourself. And they need to respect that. And if they can't respect it, you need to teach them that they do. Because again, self-care, good energy surrounding us, taking care of ourselves. We can't always, when we are getting out there into the world, oh, that puppy's carrying on. Sorry. She's crying a little bit. She's being ignored and needs some attention. Come here, Abby. Come here, Abby. Come say hello. Okay, Abby's back. Abby's back. Things aren't always face value. Things aren't always as they appear, and sometimes we need to be able to look through the fog or look through the smoke to find exactly what it is that is really the truth. What is really underlying that energy? What is really happening? Discern what is going on and figure out what is best for you. Another analogy of this, other than the cake, is your pool, your swimming pool, or your hot tub. You don't want somebody coming home from work boots and mud all over them if they were working construction or whatever, and jump in your pool. You want them to shower first. You want them to be clean. So we don't want dirty energy around us. We want clean energy around us. And that's very, very important. If we do have somebody around us that we feel that they've got good energy, we're allowing them in, but all of a sudden, something has changed. We can feel it. Our intuition is telling us the energy is off a bit. It isn't exactly the way it used to be. Might sound crude. Do not let people pee in your pool. You need to keep your pool clean. You need to have people in there that are going to respect your pool, keep your energies clean and positive around you. If you're going to have people dirtying your water, you need to back away from them a little bit. And that's okay. It's okay to back away from people for a while. It's okay to snip people out of our lives too when we need to. We need good energy. I keep saying that. Good energy. Follow your intuitions. We have to work to keep our pool clean. Sometimes you've seen in swimming, people have their swimming pools and they have those skimmer things and they skim the scum off the top of the pool. Sometimes we have to go in and clean our pool. And sometimes it's okay to go in. Just because somebody was my friend at one point, or I was on good terms with somebody at one point, it does not mean that it stays that way. Sometimes it gets a little bit toxic. Energies can change, and that's okay. We're here to learn what is good for us and what is not good for us. And it has all changed since the passing of our person. Those energies have changed. The people have changed. The people that are awkward around us, they slowly back away from us. They slowly back away. They slowly don't want to be around us. There's a lot of people that were in my life and around me when Daryl was still alive, but they've separated from me. So if I have people in my life that I need to separate from, it's okay for me to do it. I have found as I have become older, but I have also found since Daryl has passed, that I have a lot less ingredients in my cake. I have a lot less people in my pool. And I find that I can keep my energies up higher, my energies clean, my aura, everything about me in a much positive, better place by keeping it clean and skimming. And it's okay to do that. And sometimes, like I said, it's a temporary thing. Sometimes it'll be a permanent thing. You got to do for you. Because if you don't do for you, nobody else is going to do for you. I cannot fix your grief, but I can give you some pointers on what you need to do to keep stepping forward. Small steps, sometimes big steps. Sometimes we can walk a block. Sometimes we step back 4 or 5 steps, and that's okay. That is a part of the process. Nobody said we always have to be going forward. But listen to your gut. Listen to your heart. Every person out there feels things differently. How do I put this? Some people, if you are in a situation, and I'm not talking about just people all the time and toxic energies or whatever. I'm talking about even incidents that can happen in life. Sometimes I'll be somewhere and I just get this gut feeling, or I have to go somewhere or do something. I get this terrible feeling in my gut. This doesn't feel right to me because I feel things in my gut. I am a Leo, and I was once told that is what Leos do. They feel things in their gut. Then there's other people, they feel things in their chest all the time. My chest kind of hurts. I have a funny feeling in my chest. Some people, it's all up here. They have a funny feeling in their head. They might get a headache. They might feel or think something that it doesn't feel right. Listen to that. That's what today's about. The energies and the intuitions. We have to listen. We could eat, exercise, do all the right things every day, but it doesn't mean that our energy levels still aren't going to dip a little bit. It doesn't mean that our energy levels are still going to be a little bit off some days. They're allowed to be. We're allowed to have our off days. If those off days you don't want someone around you, don't. And if you still have a job, if you need to take a day off, take that day off. Don't be peer pressured. Know your truth and be true to yourself. If you can't be true to yourself, you can't be true to anybody. So self-care first. If you can't help yourself, you can't help anybody else. And if you can't tell yourself the truth, you're not going to be able to tell anybody else the truth. So we need to keep our energies up, keep our energies clean. And that's okay. To snip where we need to snip, skim where we need to skim, and do what we need to do for us. So take care of yourself. Do what you can for yourself today. Be kind to yourself. Sometimes it's just laying in a bath is doing what we need to do for ourselves. Sometimes it's buying a puppy. Sometimes it's going shopping. Buy yourself a new sweater. Sometimes it's just relaxing and having a cup of tea or a nap. So be kind to yourself. Be true to yourself. And until I see you again, please take care and blessings to you.